Welcome along, everyone, to another episode of Holla If You Hear Me. My name's Andy, and tonight we have Fraz and the one and only Dirty Dave. Hope you guys are doing okay. How are we all?
I'm good, thank you, Andrew.
Good.
Finished devouring a fucking Aldi hash brown. Seriously, another level. Have you boys tried it?
I have, yes. They're a particular favourite of my children, so yes, they're very good.
Dave knows already.
You can't beat a hash brown, can you?
You can't beat a Dino brown either, Ham.
If you look at me, you can tell I like a hash brown or two. So let's get this video on the right track straight away. We are here to discuss both the best and worst of wrestling in a new series based on the best and worst of wrestling. Tonight we are discussing the very hot topic of the best Intercontinental Champions of all time. We have some different views upon that. We are going to be doing a bracket system. Tournament bracket system, which we are going to be discussing and making arguments for and against our picks and the various people in that bracket. I just also want to say, please do like, share, and subscribe this video with everyone you know, because we appreciate everything that's been done so far to get these videos and our faces into the atmosphere, because we want to be rich and we don't want to be doing our day jobs forever. So let's get down to it. Is everyone happy to get this underway?
Just 1 second. If my boss was watching this, I love my job. Yeah.
Oh, I don't love my job. Fuck my job.
Yeah.
I
love my job.
There to earn money.
My boss won't be watching this. If he was watching this, he'd say I'm ridiculous for doing this. But he'd still want me to do well. So I'm okay. I definitely want to do this and not my day job. And I'm very, very excited to talk about Intercontinental Champions. It's my favorite belt. And some of the best wrestlers have been Intercontinental Champions. So
this one right here.
No, not that one. That's
the Intercontinental Championship.
No, it's a child's belt made for children.
That's the Intercontinental Championship.
No. See,
this is already kicking off. Come on, let's go on.
This is what I have to deal with, people.
Let's do it. Let's go.
So, Andy, do you want to tell the crowd how we've come to the conclusion of picking these 16 wrestlers?
Okay, yes. So there's a bracket of 16. We've each had a selection of 5 each, with one that we've democratically voted upon as being the 16th. So we've each chosen 5 of our own, and then there's one extra that we've just added in democratically. But they are all different. And yeah, then it's been randomized, thrown through a random number generator, and the bracket is completely random. We have no idea who's where, doing what, or why. So let's... yeah, pretty much covers everything we need to know. So indeed, here we
go.
Who is the best WWE Intercontinental Champion?
So I'll go through the contestants. We've got Jeff Jarrett, The Miz, Bret Hart, Gunther, The Rock, Randy Savage, Kurt Frickin' Angle. Actually, was it Kurt Frickin' Angle? That's how I like to call him.
Kurt Frickin'.
Roddy Piper, Y2J, Chris Benoit, Edge, Mr. Perfect, Razor Ramon, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, and Eddie Guerrero.
And there's so many more. It's so
hard. There are loads more.
These are the creme de la creme. The cream always rises to the top.
Could easily say.
I will say
each year. To be fair, it's so hard to narrow it down to 16. It's heartbreaking in some ways.
Also, want to just say before we get started, yes, I hope we are all aware that we know that Eddie Guerrero has been spelled incorrectly, but it's okay. We're not going to fuss about that one.
Jesus Christ! Thanks, Andy, for pointing out my incompetence there.
It's all right. I'll let you up under the bus.
The first matchup, Jeff Jarrett and The Miz. I picked Jeff Jarrett only on the request of my brother. Shout out Walid. JEFFJARRETT. I'm not like these two ring historians, so I literally wrote notes down on each of the wrestlers that I chose. Oh, and his camera's gone. His kebab has arrived.
My kebab is on order, so I will run away when that kebab arrives.
So, yeah, I picked, I've noted down a few points here. Jarrett was a 6-time IC champ, one of the most decorated in history. Perfect heel persona. Made the mid-card feuds feel main event worthy. Legendary rivalries with Razor Ramon, China, Edge, Shawn Michaels. Pioneered the China feud, leading to the first female IC champ. Carried the belt during the New Generation and the Attitude Era. Used the IC title as his main prize, elevating its value. His signature guitar shots became iconic. Kept the title relevant when the main event scene was crowded. And also drew heat, a true belt-defining heel champion.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I think people forget Jeff Jarrett because he had 2 significant sort of sets of reigns. That first sort of 3 in '95. I think he's like the first or second guy to be a 3-time Intercontinental Champion, and then in sort of '99 when he completely changed persona and had Deborah with him, and he was sort of feuding with Edge and D'Lo Brown and helping the youngsters.
So just letting you guys know, me and Dave are obviously school friends, and we used to watch WWF at the time. And I loved Razor Ramon, didn't I? And that feud that him and Razor had. And I hated Jeff Jarrett with a passion.
You did.
But obviously he's done his job. And I don't think you can overlook the impact that he's had on the particular title that we're talking about. So that's why I picked Jeff Jarrett. And I think that he should go through to the next round over The Miz. But I'll let Andy explain why he believes The Miz is one of the greatest IC champions of all time.
So in this situation, there is only one clear choice, and it has to be The Miz. The Miz is the second highest of all time in terms of number of Intercontinental Championship reigns, with 8. And each one of those, well, okay, individually, most of them are pretty mid. But I will point out that there was a period of time where he held the number 1 title on Monday Night Raw, because Brock wasn't there, and he held basically the A belt on Monday Night Raw. Brock turned up, 4 times in that year, 2016? So, to me, The Miz, at one point or another, well, several times, obviously, being 8 reigns, has held the workhorse title. And during a period of time where Brock Lesnar was not turning up, not around, and not defending the A title on Raw, the WWE Championship, the Intercontinental Championship was the title belt to hold, and I think he did a really, really good job of that. Generally speaking, I don't particularly rate him as a wrestler, but as an Intercontinental Champion, he's had some great matches. The ladder match with Dolph Ziggler, the feuds with Kofi, and many others. But yeah, I think The Miz deserves a shout at going through against Jeff Jarrett, who ain't he great? It's JRREWC, but hey ho.
Great. The only thing I will say to counter that is, do you not think that when Jarrett held the title, or his several title reigns, the IC title was more significant back then? It was held in more a higher esteem than it was when The Miz had it?
No, not at all. Well, I mean, there's an argument that can be made, but if Brock wasn't showing up with the WWE Championship, the only title belt they had left on Monday Night Raw was the Intercontinental belt. So,
having said that, Jarrett's first 3 reigns as Intercontinental Champion, Diesel was the world champion, so you effectively didn't have a world champion turning up then either. So, 3 moves of doom, wasn't it?
But also, didn't Jarrett lose the belt to China, like in the
Good Housekeeping
match?
No Mercy.
Yeah, like one of the worst matches of all time.
Yeah, but
a match so bad he got fired straight after the match.
No, he didn't get fired. He got that match made him $250,000. So from his
because he wasn't under contract. That's right. He wasn't under contract. He did that match and then just left.
Greatest match he ever had. So you could say he was the richest, most valued Intercontinental Champion of all time. It's a tough one because The Miz is second behind Jericho for most title reigns.
Exactly.
It's really hard. It's a really hard one. So I think, like, obviously for guys, in case the guys haven't figured out, it's obviously Jeff Jarrett was picked by Fraz, and The Miz was picked by Andy. So in this situation, I've got to be the deciding vote on who I think should go through, and it's really difficult. And I know Andy's going to think I've got some vendetta against him, and I really generally do not. Certainly not about Intercontinental Champions, because this is like my passion. But do you know what? If you've had it a lot, you've lost it a lot. How many people did you make? How much did you do for the belt? You know, like I said, I think Jarrett's reigns are split in two. An amazing feud with Scott Hall, which branched off to the 1-2-3 kid, but he also had some really good ladder matches that weren't televised. And then in 98, 99, he's feuding with the youngsters like D'Lo Brown and Edge. Gave Edge his first Intercontinental title win at a house show in Toronto. Given back to the business. And, you know, he was in such a power position, Vince McMahon had to pay him $200,000 to complete his Intercontinental title match. So on this occasion, I can't see how anyone but Jeff Jarrett can go through to the next round.
Yes. Ain't great.
I mean, he really although he needed the roadie most of the time, the last outlaw, Jeff Jarrett, is
Shocking.
He does do it for me, I'm afraid. I'm sorry.
Yeah. What did he used to say? What was his little catchphrase? The greatest singer, the greatest wrestler, the greatest entertainer.
The world's greatest singer, the world's greatest wrestler, and the world's greatest entertainer.
He wasn't even the greatest singer. He didn't even sing his own fucking music.
No, yeah, but that was an incredible song, wasn't it? When I wake up in the morning when the sunlight's creeping through the curtain on a room in a sweat, thinking
So Bruce Pritchard sings that on every one of his
he doesn't. Road Dogg sings it.
I can't wait to be alone with my baby tonight.
And I think what was even better than that was the In Your House 2 theme song, which was that went along with it, but I'm not going to sing that. So people can find that on Netflix. In Your House 2, the theme tune's probably even better than Jeff Jarrett's theme tune.
Oh dear. How's your kebab, Andy?
Beautiful, fucking delicious. Lamb doner, chicken shish.
Jesus Christ. Uncle Fayez would be proud of you.
He would be, wouldn't he? Oh dear.
Okay, so moving on to the next match, we've got Bret the Hitman Hart, the excellence of execution. Now, Bret Hart was the what did you say?
The Democratic vote.
Democratic vote. We all agreed that Bret Hart should go in there. That'll tell you a little something. Against Gunther, which I believe was Mr. Wright's selection.
Yeah, I mean, I think first off, I'll just say that the reason I didn't pick Bret Hart was because he'd already gone through. He would already be mine. So this is really, really tough for me. That the fact that in my eyes, probably my favourite Intercontinental Champion has been drawn against one of my other picks. So I've got to stick with the fact that I want my pick to win. The belt behind me, the real Intercontinental Championship. It's been my belt since I was a kid. Loved it. But it doesn't mean I just love the old style wrestling. It isn't. And for me, one of the things that really helped me really get back into wrestling on top of the bloodline is Gunther's Intercontinental title reign of 660 odd days. Is the first time I thought the belt had really meant anything for a good 10 years. And certainly reminded me of old times. I thought the fact that the match meant something at WrestleMania 41 and wasn't just a throwaway match as well was fantastic for me. I think it obviously helped Gunther as well. Goes in there with his long reign as the NXT UK champion. So, yeah, I mean, love Gunther, but to be honest with you guys, I'm more than happy if Bret Hart goes through as well because he's probably my favourite Intercontinental champion of all time anyway.
Well, I've got some notes on Bret Hart.
I've
got some notes on Bret Hart and all.
I haven't.
Two-time Intercontinental champion.
Correct.
Known for his iconic matches against Mr. Perfect and the British Bulldog. SummerSlam 1992. I actually got invited to a birthday party. Daniel Adams Yeah.
Oh.
And
Yes.
I remember going to, that was my first ever Ipswich Town match, Ipswich against Oldham. Ian Marshall scored penalties. They lost 2-1. And we went back to his house and watched SummerSlam 92. And that match, I still remember, it's quality. He helped transition the IC top from mid-card belt to a prestige builder for world champs. Used the IC championship as a true stepping stone to the WWF title. Represented the shift from over-the-top characters to athletic realism. Always treated the title with respect. He is the excellence of execution, and he set the standard. Probably to what we know the IC title is today for real wrestlers. It's a title that I've always found synonymous with wrestlers that are, workhorses, proper wrestlers, rather than their image or persona or character.
Yeah, but it is a wrestler's belt, not a character belt. On a whole, there's a few exceptions.
There's been a few, like The Miz.
Right, if you two are done sucking Bret Hart's dick, I've got a hot take for you right here. Bret Hart is the most overrated wrestler in WWE history. The most overrated wrestler in WWE history. And let me explain to you why.
Yeah, because you weren't
He was
born.
very good. He was very good. And I will not fault the fact that he was between the bell to bell, one of the best. A charisma, a vacuum. There was nothing going on inside this guy's fucking mind when he was talking on the mic. It was miserable. It was dull as dishwater. It was boring. It was dead. And everyone at the time knew it. HBK knew it. Everybody knew it. That's why HBK was so charismatic and so different and so cool. Anyway, my vote goes to Gunther because he chops people down like trees, and Bret Hart sucks. There's my vote. I know I've already lost because these two are going to put Bret Hart through, but hey, that's my take.
Well, no, I think you missed the point because Dave chose Gunther, and you chose Bret Hart. Yeah.
No, I'm choosing Gunther.
No, originally
I didn't choose Bret Hart.
Out of all the 16, so for the people that are watching, I sent a poll in our WhatsApp group saying, out of all these wrestlers, we've got to pick one that we all agree on.
Yeah.
And it was Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, and Pat Patterson. In fact, your words, Andy, Pat, suck my dick, Pat Patterson. And you chose Bret Hart.
He would have.
Because he was already going to win. It's a 3-person vote, and you'd both voted for Bret Hart.
But you could have picked someone else. And now you've picked, Dave's pick is Gunther. I'm stepping up because you're eating stuff in your face with a kebab. I've stepped up and give the viewers the reasons why Bret Hart is a legend.
No.
You have got people like Shawn Michaels, charisma personified, but then you've got Bret Hart, who is a workhorse champion. There are people like me and Dave that appreciate that kind of wrestling over people that are on the mic.
It's an interesting narrative as well because everybody, they're two completely different people. But Michaels was more charismatic. But just for a point of reference, because I know Andy would have been too young to have even known this at the time. But take 1996 versus 1997. I know it's pre-Attitude Era, so most people don't think it ever happened, but it did. When Michaels was champ in 96 versus when Bret was champ and a heel and doing some of his best mic work in 97. So the difference in house show attendance and revenue from December 96 to December 97, in December 97, they were up 80% versus the previous year. That's pretty much that's almost the same metric across the whole spectrum. And even ratings were up. They weren't beating WCW. I get that. But Shawn Michaels didn't beat WCW. Austin did, and Vince. So no, I disagree. I think that when Bret was shackled to being a good guy, that some of his promos could be boring. I get that because he's trying too hard to be the straight man. But when he was let off the lead to be a heel, his mic work was great in '97. But I do take your point.
I will say 100% that in the ring, bell to bell, he is, if not one of the top 3 greatest of all time. I've always felt that his mic work was always lacking by comparison. He always says he's the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be, the excellence of execution, but not on the mic. And if you need to sell a show, sell a pay-per-view, sell a TV show, sell a video, sell a whatever, sell merch, you need to be able to talk about it. You need to be able to vocalize and verbalize what it is you're trying to do. And I never felt he did that as effectively as his persona and his aura gave. That's just
so we're going to put through Gunther, who's clearly 100% better than Bret Hart on the mic. He's actually worse, but I'm a casual fan and I don't know anything about wrestling, so we're going to put that through. I'm very bitter about this decision, and
people who watch this are going to hate me, and I'm all here.
Oh yeah, absolutely, but it all gets views, doesn't it? So for the next episode, we can change your name from Andy to fucking dickhead.
I think you've probably lost some support, Andy, in the fact that your argument doesn't hold weight against Bret Hart's opponent in this bracket for the same reason, i.e.,
exactly.
If this was Bret versus Shawn in the tournament, then yeah, but actually you've just let some internet bias that you've read since you were older influence your
read. I've watched.
You didn't watch.
I owned. How dare you, sir? I owned SummerSlam '92. My cousin attended SummerSlam '92 and brought me the fucking video back. So I know about SummerSlam '92.
There's a lot more to Bret than SummerSlam '92. Anyway, never mind. He's out, thanks to Andy, and you're going to have to live with the hatred of the 14 subscribers that we've got, Andy.
I've got a very large back, and I can live with the hate.
Oh, magnificent. Okay, well, now next coming up, head to head, we've got The Rock versus Macho Man Randy Savage. I believe The Rock was your pick, wasn't it, Andy?
Mm-hmm.
So if you'd like to lead proceedings, and I shall automatically put Dave's pick through because you're a cop.
Shall I go first because he's eating? Let me go and you can carry on eating.
You by all means.
Yeah, go on. You keep eating. I'll very quickly give you some Randy Savage stats. So this is really difficult because I think The Rock is fantastic as well, and he was great in '98 as the Intercontinental Champion. So this is a hard pick, but for me, Randy was the first Intercontinental Champion that I actually physically watched. He's the 6th Intercontinental Champion. He held the title at that point for the longest period of time. It was just over a year. Made 2 WrestleMania appearances as Intercontinental Champion, but everybody always remembers WrestleMania 3, which is the first time there was a real decent star match at WrestleMania in front of 93,000 people against Ricky Steamboat. But for me, that match was all about Savage. He scripted the whole thing, put everything together, stole the show, took everything from it. And, you know, that match made WrestleMania in some ways. It made the Intercontinental title in others. And it sort of put him on the way to being the original Mr. WrestleMania before Michaels. So for me, what Savage went on to then do and be makes the Intercontinental title mean more. For me, he really did make the belt mean something. So that's why I picked Randy Savage.
Okay. Well said indeed. I agree with what Dave was saying about Randy Savage as Intercontinental Champion, especially when it came to what he said about WrestleMania 3. That match with Ricky Steamboat is a phenomenal contest between 2 guys who are at the top of their game and masters of their craft. However, they're not the final boss, neither one of them. And Randy Savage is certainly no final boss, and he's not the great one with the millions and the millions. And of course, what we have to remember is at this time, when The Rock was Intercontinental Champion, he was not a good guy. Being the bad guy in all of this is what got him over, and using the Intercontinental Championship as a tool to do so. Being that chicken shit heel within the nation, and his feuds with people like Stone Cold Steve Austin and Triple H and lots of other people and Mankind and whatnot. He's The Rock. He's The Rock. Is he the best bell-to-bell in the ring? Absolutely not. Definitely not. I would say Randy's got him licked on that one. But it's The Rock. In terms of longevity, in terms of what he means to the business, it's undisputed. It cannot be argued that there's any that other than short of Stone Cold Steve Austin and Hulk Hogan, who else has done more to generate revenue over the last 30 years than The Rock. But Again, this is about Intercontinental title reigns, so I really don't have a dog in this fight. I'll be completely honest with you.
Yeah.
I want The Rock to go through because I love The Rock, but I wouldn't be upset if Randy went through. I really wouldn't.
I think I'm with you, Andy. I mean, the fact that I assume you're mainly talking about his second reign when he got given the title.
Yeah, massively.
Not
the blue chipper reign, definitely not. That was turd.
Rocky Maivia.
Yeah.
Die, Rocky, die.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, if we go on the premise of what Andy put Gunther through over Bret Hart, then The Rock goes through because he's the greatest on the mic, isn't he?
Wow. Yeah, but Savage started that whole thing. Let's be fair.
But he's no Dwayne Johnson on The Rock. However, Dave, you're gonna have to help me here. Didn't Randy Savage have the best Intercontinental match ever against Ricky Steamboat?
Well,
WrestleMania 4 or
it's subjective. It's WrestleMania 3, but yeah. He.
I know it's subjective, but so I mean, again, memorable moments.
Yeah, I mean, it made WrestleMania and it made the Intercontinental title match mean something at WrestleMania. So I mean, it's pretty important. I mean, when you think Hogan Andre. How can anyone be talking about anything but Hogan and Andre? But actually, more, just as many people talk about the Intercontinental title match, which is what him and Steamboat set out to do. And I think the fact that he masterminded that in a way that didn't take away from Hogan and Andre, they didn't try and do the same style of match. It was completely different. It's like, right, we've got 15 minutes. We're going to make this a technical masterpiece. It's going to be different. We're not going to shit on the other guys, but we're still going to make us look good. That's a pro as well, isn't it? Doing something for the company.
That's almost like the hallmark of an IC champion. That's literally what they're there to do, is to have really good 4 5-star matches, excellent matches that get people talking, whilst not outshining the main event.
Yeah, which, remember, for 10 years the main event was Hogan dropping links on people and that, and his matches used to be before the interval house show. So the IC title really was the main event at all the shows other than TV and pay-per-view. So yeah, he created that as a standard. So it's really hard to take that away. But yeah, I mean, again, love The Rock. Really bad first run. Second run, I remember when he got given the title when Austin vacated, I thought that's a bit pants. But can't argue with his second reign as the Intercontinental Champion and that ladder match with Triple H at SummerSlam 98. So again, I'm with you, Andy. It's a tough one, but I think for me, boyhood Intercontinental Champion was definitely Randy Savage, and then as a teenager, I loved The Rock. So it's tough one.
Randy Savage wins.
Controversial. I'll take that. I will take that.
Controversial.
Right.
Like it.
Now, do you want me to present this one, sir? Did Farid pick Kurt Angle?
David, you are absolutely spot on. And the longer we do this show, the more people will realise that Kurt Angle is the greatest of all time.
So would you like to...
In my eyes. So I know Kurt didn't have, loads of reigns as champion. Did he win it once or twice?
I think it was just the once. Yeah, just the one.
Just one. But he was, along with D'Lo Brown, because you might mention in the chat the other day, Intercontinental Champion.
Correct.
He was, yeah.
And he was never beaten for the Intercontinental title.
He was never pinned for the Intercontinental Championship.
It was a triple threat match, and somebody pinned somebody else.
Yeah, Benoit pinned Jericho, and then Jericho pinned Benoit.
I wasn't going to say their names.
Well, we've got him in the video.
Yeah, so I mean, I think this whole Chris Benoit thing, we're talking about him as a wrestler.
We love a bit of Benoit, don't we?
Yeah, exactly.
In the ring, yeah.
In the ring.
This is not about Chris Benoit. This is about Kurt Angle.
Kurt Angle, yeah, keep going. Sorry, Kurt Angle.
Olympic hero. He is my favourite wrestler of all time. I do not need to say anything more. If I had my way, he would be the winner, but I also understand that he probably hasn't done as much for the IC title as others. The floor is yours.
Go on then, Andy. So you've picked Roddy Piper.
Roddy Piper.
his only title, I think, wasn't it? So yeah,
Yeah,
tell us about
yes.
Mr. Round. Well, in WWF, anyway. So tell us about Roddy Piper.
I've chosen Roddy. Yes, as Intercontinental Champion. Granted, his reign wasn't exactly glowing. He beat the Mountie for the title, which was the Mountie at the Royal Rumble of 1992. He did lose it soon after to Bret Hart at WrestleMania 8. So a very short reign of like 4 months, and I believe I might be right in saying that it's his only singles title reign in WWE.
Yeah.
So in terms of a man with that sort of legacy, if it's the only title he's ever going to win, it's Roddy Piper. The man was an absolute genius, a genius on the mic, excellent in the ring, bell to bell, and was just phenomenal with everything he was tasked to do. Was his title reign particularly memorable? Not exactly, but it was his only one. So as far as I'm concerned, one of the greatest to ever do it. Gets a title reign, he gets put in the list.
Do you know what? I think it's this one's a really difficult one, guys, because they both had really short title reigns. I think Andy, I know on paper it doesn't look like Piper did much, but he did have a couple of really good matches with the Mountie afterwards, the Rumble as well. He also wrestled Shawn Michaels a couple of times in between the Rumble and WrestleMania 8 for the Intercontinental title, which a lot of people don't know. But the reason Roddy Piper became the Intercontinental Champion is because he wanted to put Bret over at WrestleMania and make Bret an even bigger star than he was, because he was a big Bret Hart fan, and Bret was on course to retain the Intercontinental Championship at the Rumble, and there was going to be all different feuds going into 1992, and they came up with this decision that Bret needed to beat someone else on top of Mr. Perfect to really try and push himself forward in 92, because Hogan was leaving and everything was changing. So, and then you look at Kurt Angle and you think, Olympic gold medalist, everything that he's ever done in the WWE, never actually properly lost the title. But he was only the champ for 28 days.
Well, I'll just interject before you make your decision. Like Andy was saying about Piper, it was the only title he had.
Mm-hmm.
With Kurt, the IC title not only ushered in a new dawn for technical mid-card wrestlers, but led him to be the legend that everyone loves. Yeah, It was a blend of comedy and technical wrestling. It propelled him to heights that possibly no one thought was going to happen. No. You cannot pick anyone other than Kurt Angle.
Well,
it's true. It's damn true.
I don't know if I can let another travesty of Bret Hart not going through. So everything that we all said about Bret Hart and all the fight we put into Bret Hart, that was because 50% of his reigns were because of Roddy Piper. So it is a really, really difficult. This is really hard how this bracket randomized these. Okay, I'm just gonna have to go because Farad, I gave you Jarrett. So I'm going to be.
Oh my goodness!
Going to be even, and I'm going to give Randy Orton. Randy Orton.
Randy Orton.
I'm going to give.
Is he even on the list? Why is Randy not on this list? He's a great.
Got the Miz on the list.
Shit! I made a bad call there.
This is what's so hard about this. Is like.
Okay, are we going Piper?
Yeah.
No, you're not going Piper, are you? You're going Kurt.
Yeah. No, I'm not.
It's just a much better quarterfinal match, surely.
Is it? Says who?
Yeah. Randy Savage against Kurt Angle. All right, you've picked Roddy Piper. Scum, the pair of you. Dave, our friendship of 35 years is over.
I gave you Jeff Jarrett. What more do you want? I mean, that was... I mean, that and the fact that I once dressed up like Jeff Jarrett. But apart from that, that's the only reason you got
it. Y2J and Chris Benoit. Andy.
Which one did I pick? Or did I pick either of these? Is this one of your series?
Y2J, didn't you?
I picked Y2J. Well, everything I said about The Miz.
This guy, seriously.
Add one, because this guy is the... When you think Intercontinental Champion, okay, if you're my age, okay, and you watched wrestling from about 92, 94, came back to it around about 2000 because you didn't have Sky or cable or anything. You just had what you had. When you come in at 2000, the Intercontinental Championship is synonymous with Y2J Chris Jericho. From his reign co-championing with China to his reign beating William Regal, if I can remember correctly, at WrestleMania X7. His match with Chris Benoit at the Royal Rumble of 2001. That ladder match was a ladder match to end all ladder matches. Arguably the best ladder match since Shawn and Razor. And he's held the belt 9 times. Yes, I know the argument. If you've held it 9 times, you've lost it 9 times. Well, tell that to Ric Flair and tell that to the rarely seen 17 John Cena. But the point is that Y2J is, if not a finalist, I would say he should be a finalist already. I've just given him 3 buys. But hey, it's a democracy. But my vote's for Y2J.
Well done, Andy.
Okay, I'm not going to digress from the notes here in case I say something I shouldn't. Hard-hitting technical style made the IC title feel like a true workhorse championship. 4-time IC champ, had standout matches with Kurt, Y2J, RVD, and Edge, brought legitimacy and intensity to the title, treated every title defense like a fight. This guy was part of some of the most technical IC matches of all time. Defended the title on all the main pay-per-views, including WrestleMania, represented a shift towards pure wrestling skill over bullshit character gimmicks, used the IC title as a stepping stone to become the world champ, the Bret Hart path, known for elevating everyone he feuded with. Jericho and RVD both shined in programs with him and helped keep the IC title relevant from the Attitude Era to Ruthless Aggression.
Wow, thank you, Farad. And considering that we're obviously unscripted, of course, these notes are not pre-prepared in any way, shape, or form.
No, thank you, ChatGPT. If you want to sponsor the channel, get in touch.
So that we can be scripted. Wow, boys. I mean, this is the battle of 2000s, isn't it? I mean, Backlash 2000, Judgment Day 2000, SummerSlam.
Sorry, David. Backlash?
Lashback. As a matter of fact, 30th of April 2000, so we've just gone past it as we're recording now. So, Jericho, I think, got himself disqualified, didn't he? Yeah. And then the submission match at Judgment Day a month later. SummerSlam, they had a match. That wasn't for the Intercontinental title because they'd both lost it by then. And then the ladder match at the Royal Rumble in 2001 was tremendous. It's a really hard pick. I love both of these guys. I watched them in ECW and WCW. This is so hard, but I think for me, anyone that can beat Billy Gunn for the Intercontinental title has got to edge it. And you might be a 9-time Intercontinental champion, but if you haven't beaten the one Billy Gunn, because that ladder match could have looked very different. Chris Jericho versus Billy Gunn. I mean, would we still be talking about that now? I doubt it. So let's go with Chris Benoit.
Benoit!
You heard it here first. If you hear me, condones Chris Benoit. There's the fact of it. There it is.
No. That really was flip a coin. That really was flip a coin. That was a really...
What? No, David, it wasn't flip a coin. It was down to one of the greatest talents to ever step in the squared circle. Badass.
Well said.
That's
Billy Gunn. That's Billy Gunn.
And ladies and gentlemen, I would like to add, Jeff Jarrett was added to this and substituted Billy Gunn. Billy Gunn is also one of my favourites of all time.
Who would have thought that one of the greatest tag team wrestlers of all time would influence the Intercontinental title tournament? Hey,
exactly.
Smoking Gunn himself.
Yeah, and their theme music is one of the greatest.
The rockabilly.
Yeah. Okay, gentlemen, over to yourselves. We've got Edge and Mr. Perfect. Just a quick one. We will be doing an episode that will last around 90 minutes on Billy Gunn very soon.
I won't be a part of that one. Fine. I don't think anyone's got 90 minutes to talk about Billy Gunn.
I will, and I'll be playing all of his theme tunes, by the way. That helps.
Including Chuck and Palumbo.
That gets us through 88 minutes of the 90 minutes, so we're going to be well and truly sorted. Now, am I right in thinking that I picked both of these people?
Did you pick both of these people?
So I'm up against myself.
Oh,
so that's quite difficult. So I tell you what, then I'll give you both my arguments, and then I will let you two fight it out.
Changing up the dynamic.
Yeah, well, I didn't. This is the randomizer. This is the joy of randomizer. But okay, so if I start with Mr. Perfect, so again for me, really important Intercontinental Champion when I was a kid. Two-time Intercontinental Champion, won a tournament after WrestleMania 6 because the title was vacated by the Ultimate Warrior after the Ultimate Challenge of Hulk Hogan, beat Tito Santana, who, of course, is a former two-time Intercontinental Champion as well. Went on to hold the title until SummerSlam, where he lost it to the Texas Tornado, won it back again in December, and then had the longest Intercontinental title reign of the 90s. Retained the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania 7 against the Big Boss Man, and of course had that amazing match with Bret Hart at SummerSlam 91, which he had with a broken back. Everybody talks about Kurt Angle's broken freaking neck, but no one talks about Kurt Hennig's broken freaking back. So if you can put a 5-star match on and deliver a perfect plex with a broken back and make your next superstar, then I think you're doing something pretty good. And the fact that he can spit his gum out and hit it in his hand as well is absolutely exceptional. So I think, under any other circumstances, I would be advocating only Mr. Perfect. But as I picked Edge, so I've got to talk about Edge. So obviously everybody knows about Edge. Won his first Intercontinental title in the Sky Dome at a house show in '99 against Jeff Jarrett, who we've already mentioned. But he lost it the next day at Fully Loaded in '99. But for me, what I loved about Edge is at a period in time when it was all about the invasion, it was all about WWE and WCW and ECW and the alliance. Actually, Edge was quietly bubbling away, winning the King of the Ring, and then having this Intercontinental title feud with his former partner, brother, whatever you want to call him, Christian. And they had an outstanding ladder match for the Intercontinental title, which I thought was superb and really helped set Edge up for his feuds in 2002, made him a superstar, a single superstar, probably more than the King of the Ring. Coming off being the Intercontinental Champion, he was put into feuds with Kurt Angle and Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit and Rey Mysterio. Would he have done that without the Intercontinental title run? I don't think so. So, sometimes the belt makes the man, sometimes the man makes the belt. And this is one of those occasions where Edge and Mr. Perfect, they're the opposites. I think Mr. Perfect helped make the belt. The belt helped make Edge. There's no right, there's no wrong. I will let you two boys fight it out, and I'll sit and cry in the corner.
Quite simply, if you're talking about pure definition of IC champions, it is Mr. Perfect. He has remained relevant for decades now, and he is synonymous with that IC title. He's probably made the title as relevant as it can be, as much as you've had that, as long as it's taken you to eat that kebab, Andy. My pick is Mr. Perfect. I mean, I totally understand Edge, 5-time champ, and propelled him to bigger and better things, but I think Edge is more known for his run as a rated R superstar than he is his IC title reign. So that's me, Mr. Perfect.
I think Mr. Perfect was slightly before my time, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. As a rule, when I was watching a lot of WCW, and he was Kurt Hennig of the Red Texas Rednecks, wasn't it? That's how I always imagined Mr. Perfect to begin with. I don't dispute the fact that he was an excellent wrestler and he was an excellent Intercontinental Champion. Edge, however, to me, lest we forget, you want to talk about making history, Edge is and will always be the first and to my knowledge, only up till now, undisputed, unified, Intercontinental and United States champion when he beat Test at Survivor Series 2001. Now that's history right there. That's as huge as Jericho winning against Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock in one night, and arguably, Edge beating Test is a much bigger match.
Sorry. Just to confirm, you're saying that someone beating Test is more important than someone beating The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin? Or Bret Hart?
It's the argument I'm going to try and make, or I've tried to make. It's down to you to whether it's successful or not. But yes, no, what you mentioned, Dave, about the match against Lance Storm. I actually watched SummerSlam 2001 the other week, and that match against Lance Storm is excellent.
Underrated.
The match against Lance Storm was an excellent wrestler and possibly would have been second string for this list as far as I'm concerned. He might come up in another video about WCW wrestlers or ECW wrestlers.
Invasion wrestlers one, yeah.
Oh, please, because Invasion was my thing. Right. As for Edge itself, the matches he had with Christian, Unforgiven and No Mercy.
Yep.
Yeah. Both excellent matches as well. Made Christian as much as it made himself, and he literally used the belt as it should have been. It propelled him to the next level. He had feuds coming out of being the Intercontinental Champion with Kurt Angle in a hair versus hair. He had matches with Eddie Guerrero, one of which is arguably the greatest match ever produced or made on SmackDown, the No DQ match. All of this came after the Intercontinental Championship reign. But even after that, he had more championships when he faced Batista and Jericho, and that was when he was on the verge of turning heel.
Randy Orton
as well. Yeah, thank you. And this is just excellent. I mean, Edge is the man. He arguably did his better work as the Rated R Superstar and as the champion, like the top champ. But I still think he's a pretty damn iconic IC champ, and purely based on the fact that I know more about Edge than I do Mr. Perfect, I'd have to say Edge. Mr. Copeland or Cope.
Yeah, well, I will just say Perfect had the best dropkick in the world ever.
Touche.
And you talk about your matches, but matches against Bret Hart, matches against Kerry Von Erich, matches against Texas Tornado. Even his promos where he was like throwing his football, and the bowling and all those other. Do you remember those stupid little things he used to do? Like. Yeah. If we're talking about the definition of being the best IC champion that propels them to do their best work to be a world champion, Edge is clearly the winner, but we're not. We're talking about IC title reigns and who is the best IC champ. And for me, that is Mr. Perfect. So that is 1-1. And David, as you've picked both, you get to choose who goes through. And based off your background that you had on earlier, I've got a feeling you're going to pick Mr. Hennig. And just remember, Edge doesn't have a son that had an incredible run in the WWE as well.
And also held the IC belt.
And who also still hasn't been eliminated from the 2013 Royal Rumble.
I thought he did get eliminated. He did get eliminated on the SmackDown after that Rumble by Ambrose.
It was like months later, wasn't it? I don't know.
Yeah, by Ambrose.
The longest standing Royal Rumble entrant. Yeah.
I am going to go with Mr. Perfect, but Andy, I do agree.
It's fair. It's completely fair. I just don't know enough about him.
It was so difficult because I picked both of them, so I'm not going just against you, but again.
No, I completely understand it, David.
Now the next match. Now, I will just say, I only picked HBK because Dave forgot to pick HBK and chose Razor Ramon instead. Did you not?
Not quite accurate. We picked it. Michael's Brett, Pat Patterson. Were in our initial vote for where we all voted to go through, and we all picked Brett, didn't we? And then I'd already picked my other 5 outside of that, knowing that Brett was through. And it's a tough one, but I had to make a sacrifice, and it was HBK.
Well, you plead your case for my guy, and I'll plead a case for your guy, because clearly Shawn Michaels is your favourite, and Razor Ramon is my favourite. So let's
Well,
it's a
And
strange
you
night.
both look so much like them as well.
it's totally up to you. I've got some. I mean, I love Razor. I'm more than happy to talk about the guy that I picked.
You talk about Razor Ramon, David.
Okay, Razor.
As long as you can mention the promo he cut when he first came in on the streets of Cuba or Colombia or wherever it was.
Yeah, I mean, the mean streets of downtown Greenwich, Connecticut, where they probably filmed it. I can't imagine they went all the way down to Cuba for that. They probably just, hired some bums and spray painted some wall and flashed some money around, and that was it. I don't know, but yes, it was very good. He was awesome. Razor for me is, it's really he's the first 4-time Intercontinental Champion for starters, which I think is pretty incredible. That shows, and he carried the belt for through 94 and 95. He had main event matches with Michaels. He talked about the ladder match. He had main event level matches with Diesel at SummerSlam and what up, Peyton? And Shawn Michaels in the background. The Survivor Series matches, where the Intercontinental Champion is just as important in his match as the World Champ. Great matches with Jeff Jarrett. Huge matches with Goldust. Saved the Intercontinental title when HBK decided to get drunk and start a fight with a load of Marines, which meant Razor won his 4th Intercontinental title at In Your House 4 against Dean Douglas because Michaels was too hurt to wrestle because he'd had a little boo-boo on his head. I think for me, love Razor. He set Diesel on his way because at that point the jury was still out on Diesel. Had that massive match with Diesel that pretty much got Diesel the world title. For me, crime he never won the world title. Razor should have won it instead of Diesel. But yeah, for a good 2-3 years, 94 to 96, Razor was the Intercontinental Champion.
Okay. 3-time IC champion. The the main reason I picked Shawn Michaels because as a kid, the match at WrestleMania 10, the ladder match, was possibly my favourite match, along with Austin and Bret Hart. Ever. I mean, it was just fucking quality. It revolutionised wrestling. Was there a ladder match before that?
One in WWF that was non-televised between Bret and Shawn in July 92.
If we're going off Andy's bullshit reasons to pick an IC champion, his mic work was incredible. The promos he cut were great. The only reason the only reason I didn't particularly like Shawn Michaels after he came back from injury because he was God boy. I mean, anyone that believes in God and religion is all good in my book, but wasn't as good as when he was, that 95, 96, 97, 98, 99 reign for Michaels being that bad boy. We were going to school and, all I'm thinking about is I'm Shawn Michaels. I want to be Shawn Michaels. He's so cool. The matches he had against Razor, Marty Jannetty, Jeff Jarrett, British Bulldog,
Rick Martel.
What more can you say than HBK made the IC title, like many of these people that we have on the bracket.
Just to clarify that point there, Andy, Michaels didn't fight Martel for the Intercontinental title.
No, he did not, did he?
Razor actually did beat Martel for the Intercontinental title after they drew a battle royal. But yeah, both. So Martel helped make both of them in some way, shape, or
that
form.
may sway my decision.
In closing, Shawn Michaels is possibly the most influential Intercontinental Champion of all time.
Okay. See, it's difficult. You guys might my reasonings for some of my arguments, you may have noticed, have been not necessarily to do with their IC title reigns, but more just a case of who is the best guy that happened to hold the IC title, which is a really stupid way of doing it, I suppose. Objectively, HBK is one of the top 2, maybe, of all time. Razor's top 5. So this is really fucking difficult.
Whatever.
Razor,
yeah,
probably top 5.
Wow.
In terms of work rate, effort, mic work, bell to bell, everything incorporated into one. Razor was one of the arguably one of the top 5, top 6, certainly better than Diesel. He was constantly tearing his ACL. But yeah, HBK is 1A and 1B with probably Flair or something. But anyway, as IC champions, I think I'm probably leaning more toward Razor, just because I think HBK did more with the world title and yes, the European Championship as well. As part of DX than he ever did with the IC title. The IC title, I think, with HBK was certainly more towards the pre-DX era, if I'm correct in saying, where
sensational, Andy, sensational.
He's doing, he's not doing as much with the belt to make it still the worker belt, but it's not as much as what he accomplished with the world title. He made the world title iconic. He was an iconic WWE champion. I wouldn't say he was as iconic as IC champion. And plus, Razor never held the world title. He peaked with the IC title, so that's got something to do with it as well. There you go.
Poor decision, but there you go.
You hate Shawn Michaels, so you're happy as well.
Oh, I don't like his hairline, and I don't like his current hair.
I do like the
as
idea
I said,
of him.
when he turned into God Boy, I didn't appreciate that because my childhood was littered with crotch chops and Shawn Michaels just being a degenerate. But
you just with that copy of Playgirl. You know.
Less said about that, the better. Next up, we've got Triple H and Eddie Guerrero. Triple H would be yours, I think, Andy.
I think they're both mine, aren't they?
No, Eddie Guerrero is mine.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Triple H as Intercontinental Champion. Well, I mean, obviously he won the belt, if I'm right in saying, from The Rock for his first reign. From The Rock in the ladder match, right?
No, he beat Mark Mero in October.
Oh, yeah,
96 on Raw.
Right, okay. Well, I mean, in terms of you want to talk about making the title seem like it's worth something, it would be fair to say then that Triple H was IC title while he was in DX, pre-HBK getting injured. I don't know the history on it. To be honest with you, my reign of Triple H being the IC champion is 2001. The IT champion. The IC champion is 2001. His reign during 2001 when he won the belt, I believe, from Chris Jericho, and lost the title about 2 weeks later to Jeff Hardy. Won it back from Jeff Hardy, was willing to put Jeff Hardy over and made a massive star out of Jeff Hardy in the making right there and then. And then lost the title to another star, Kane, in one of the greatest chain matches I've ever seen in terms of something being around someone's arm or neck or whatever. That chain match at Judgment Day 2001 is excellent. And he was part of the two-man power trip, held the IC Championship and also the Tag Team Championship at the same time with Stone Cold Steve Austin, who is strangely missing from this list as well. I just noticed. But there we are. But yeah, that's my argument for Triple H. He was great with the title and went on to much, much, much grander things. So really made use of that workhorse champion of the future feature of the IC title.
Interesting. I do love Triple H. So this is a difficult one for me, but I have noted down that he is one of the most complete IC champions. Not only did he blend elite technical wrestling, but he brought fun and pure entertainment to the title. A lie, a cheat, a steal, Eddie Guerrero. Yeah, he's a master storyteller. Just fun, unpredictable. His feuds against Jericho, RVD, and Edge, one of the best ladder matches of all time against RVD in 2002. For me, again, I'm going back to Andy's bullshit reasons as to why he should go through. Is he was just charismatic on the mic. Promo work was great. But you mix that with his in-ring ability, and he's a 2-time champ, which led him to become a world champ at some point. Is why Eddie Guerrero is through to the next round for me.
Gentlemen, this is very, very tough because Triple H is probably my favorite wrestler ever. Yeah, I was watching when he won the first Intercontinental title from Mark Merrow because that's how bad Raw was. But
there's nothing wrong with Mark Merrow.
Yeah, he didn't actually when he beat The Rock, he didn't have it very long because he hurt his knee in that ladder match. And I think he only defended it once, and then he had to relinquish it. And I think just to touch on the fact that Austin's not in here, Austin's a great star, but he was not a good Intercontinental champion. Let's be fair, because
in his defense, he did do it with a broken neck.
He held the title for a month.
So did Kurt Angle, but he didn't get past Rowdy Piper, did he?
No, and let's face it, he gave the Intercontinental title to The Rock, and he had to forfeit it the first time. So not.
Did Austin give The Rock to the title? Sorry. Yeah. The day after DX in your house. But he threw it. But he gave it to him by throwing it in the fucking sound, didn't he?
No, he gave it to Vince, and then I
thought he threw it into the fucking drink.
Yeah, they did throw it into the river, but it wasn't. Yeah, it went on for a couple of weeks, and that's why The Rock did it back to him for the world title before WrestleMania 15. Anyway, we're digressing. Eddie Guerrero, I remember when he came back and beat Rob Van Dam, I was mortified because Van Dam had only just won the belt, but I loved Eddie Guerrero, so it was amazing. I think he's fantastic. I think he's great. Had some fantastic matches. I was all ready to pick Eddie, but I can't go against Triple H. I think the fact that he had reigns as Hunter Hearst Helmsley and DX Triple H and Triple H, the fact that after he'd been the world champion, he was prepared to come down and or some people say it as a come down and then, elevate everybody else, make Kane better, make Jeff Hardy better, and accept that he was below Austin to a degree in that 2-man power trip. Not a lot of people would do that. So yeah, I can't not pick Triple H, I'm afraid. So yeah, Triple H.
So I now that the decision has been made, I would have actually voted for Eddie Guerrero. I personally,
shit.
Love Eddie Guerrero to fucking pieces. Like, no, leave it as is because that's the democratic vote. I voted for Triple H and
voted
for Eddie. So, but like my heart is Eddie Guerrero, my head is Triple H.
So this gets a bit quicker now, then, guys, doesn't it? Because we've sort of gone through.
We've already made all the arguments. We can just pretty much just like one-on-one these people.
Yeah.
Like,
okay. So Jeff Jarrett and Gunther. I think I might have spelled Gunther wrong as well.
So Gunther is my pick. My argument stands. I suppose your argument stands for Jeff Jarrett. So the decide and vote here just goes to Andy. Is there anything?
Can I just interject and plead my case for JEWFJARRETT based on, again, I will say, your bullshit theory that Bret Hart has no mic skills. Jeff Jarrett is much better on the mic than Gunther. If you're going for longevity, you go for Gunther. If you go for repeated success, you go for Jeff Jarrett. There were plenty of character-driven feuds with Jeff Jarrett over Gunther. I know Gunther's a man and he brought relevancy back to the IC title, but Jarrett has legs here in this argument.
Yeah, this is the Intercontinental.
And if Jeff Jarrett gets to the final, my brother is going to love that.
That may be a reason for me not. The fact that Walid insisted on including the fucking wee woo my world man instead of Billy Gunn, but may work against you.
It's hard to argue. Do you know what? For such a long period of time, if I was a bit bored, if I had 20 minutes to kill, if there was nothing going on, I would always put on Jeff Jarrett versus Shawn Michaels from In Your House for the Intercontinental title. Such an easy watch. The whole thing just flows. It's a masterclass. So yeah, it takes two to tango. It's not just about Michaels. It's a tough one, Andy, but it's down to you, my man. I wouldn't be upset with either, I've got to be honest, but obviously I did pick Gunther, so.
Here's my headspace, okay? And I'm not, again, my choices for the way we're doing this is so uniquely fucking stupid, it's unreal. So I don't look at their Intercontinental Championship reigns. I look at the wrestler as a whole, and what they did with the Intercontinental Champion is important to me. Jeff Jarrett and Gunther. Gunther's chops are the sickest sounding thing you will ever hear in a wrestling match. They are like a sniper rifle going off. They are terrifying, these fucking things. And I've seen him almost crater a guy's chest. I saw him at New Japan show in Milton Keynes, and this was back when he was Fat Gunther, and I swear to God, he fucking murdered this poor kid, and it was beautiful to watch. On the counter to that, Jeff Jarrett, there is a legendary saying: he is the man that broke 1 million guitars and drew not a dime. I love Jeff Jarrett for the fact that he's Jeff Jarrett. As a big TNA fan in the early 2000s, I loved Jeff Jarrett. This is really freaking tough.
You're digressing, Andy. Come on. It's WWF, WWE. It's
man. I'm trying to figure out who I want to go through. I think I'm going to go Jarrett. I love Gunther, but I'm going to go Jarrett.
Excellent. There we go. He's decided.
Awful decision, but that's what I'm going with. It's bullshit.
Well, I'll take that. I'll take that. I can't argue that. You know, it's Jeff Jarrett. But I will have a big argument here, Farid, if you don't make the right choice on this next selection. Because although I did put Piper through over Kurt Angle for 30,
I could do an Ipswich screw job on you.
I still...
no, to be fair, you don't even need to play the case, gentlemen. I already had a certain someone called Macho Man Randy Savage to go through here.
There is already one winner, and it is Randy Savage. I everything I said about Roddy Piper is true. Yeah. Legend, but in terms of as an IC champion, if you want to weight it that way, it's got to be Randy. It's Macho.
Yeah.
What up, March?
What up, March?
Definitely.
Yeah.
The man that shall not be named, Voldemort, against Mr. Perfect.
So
are we really gonna put Chris Benoit in the fucking semi-finals here?
Well, it just depends, doesn't it? You know, like if you're looking for the quality of matches, intensity, in-ring elevation of the actual title, it's got to be Benoit.
No.
You know, Perfect had a small window, didn't he?
No, he had the longest title reign of the 90s.
But Benoit's
surely Honky Tonk had. No, he didn't, did he?
No.
When was Honky Tonk's reign? Was that like 89 or something?
87.
Got Peggy Sue beside me. The Colonel's in the back. I'm rolling around in my pink Cadillac.
He won it in July 87 and lost it in August 88.
Andy, this is your call, my friend.
Fuck. I do like Benoit.
Not trying at all.
No, everything prior to July 2005.
Yeah.
Or
seven. Yeah, sorry. Everything prior to July 2007 was perfect.
Yes, there you go.
Oh.
Well done. Was perfect.
Yes, well done.
You can't go back now.
I can't.
Andy,
I love
after three, you're going to say name. 3, 2, 1.
It's perfect.
Oh, dear.
I can't put through a mass murderer to a semi-final. I can't. I just can't do it. And I love Benoit.
Okay.
Farid, it's up to you because it's Triple H was Andy's pick and the bad guy was mine.
I wonder who will go through. Yeah.
Don't even need to ask, gentlemen. Do not even need to. Okay, Jarrett and Savage.
Andy, it's down to you. Who's in the final, Jarrett or Savage?
Yeah. Fucking Randy. Piss off, Willard. It's Randy Savage.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
Oh, welly.
Come on, then. Give me an argument as to why Jeff Jarrett would be a better IC champion than Randy Savage.
Right.
Because Randy Savage has won it once.
Shush. Immediately.
He's won it once, and, you know, Jarrett's just got more memorable moments for me. Those glasses and the outfits that he's come down with. Yeah.
You want to talk about glasses and outfits? Right. Randy Savage.
Perfect and Razor, they're both my picks, boys, so you two fight it out.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. I mean, I love both. I love Perfect, but I really love Razor. Yeah, it's Razor. Yeah, Razor.
And gentlemen,
here we go. Savage versus Ramon.
Picks are in the final, so you two, I think, just have a little discussion on this because this is the final.
Okay, so here's
you go
ahead, Fraz. Okay,
no, you go.
Okay, so here's my thinking. Do you want to decide this based on their IC title reigns or as the wrestler over the course of their careers?
Well, it's subject.
Like, who's the better wrestler? Who had the more impact, or as IC champion?
It's what you think, isn't it? But it's got to be about them as the Intercontinental Champion, hasn't it? First and foremost, surely.
Okay, in which case the answer's Razor to me. In terms of as a wrestler, all round, and the careers they had, it's Randy. But as the Intercontinental Champion, Razor did more.
Is that just because you hadn't seen Randy's Intercontinental title reign?
No, but I haven't seen all of Razor's either.
No, I didn't say it's in all of them, but like, you know, I totally get your argument. All I'm saying is if you're going to put yourself on
I know more iconic Razor matches with the IC title than I do Randy matches. The Randy matches I know with the IC title are Shawn and Ricky, and that's about it. When it comes to Razor, you've got people he was mixing up with, like Kid, like Shawn.
So it is just down to what you
Jarrett Goldust. Yeah. Anyone that can put a homosexual.
Anyone that can, oh my god, yeah. Anyone who can get Goldust over or make a homo like Jeff Jarrett.
Look, I'm not. I pick both these guys, so I'm not. All I'm saying, I'm not advocating for either one. All I'm saying is, if you're going to argue, then you need to be objective on both sides of the argument. And I think it's hard if you're going to say Razor just because you know more about him because it was more accessible to watch his TV. That's not sort of fair because. You know, someone could Google Savage's title reign and you could see the list of people he defended against it. And you could counter argument how much more impressive that was because everybody back in that early 80s, mid 80s were main events from territories all around the country. Whereas, you know, so you just got to be careful, I think, about where you lay your hat on the argument. And the bottom line is if you pick Razor because he means more to you and he done more for the Intercontinental title for you and he helped people that you're more aware of, then yeah, fine, go for it, mate. But just balanced, make sure you're fair on both sides of the argument. That's all.
Why don't you mull that over, Andy? Dave, who would you pick out of those two?
Oh, I picked both of them, so it's really.
You've got to pick one though, haven't you?
If I picked one, the fact that he made the Intercontinental title probably the reason we're doing this podcast about the Intercontinental Championship. He made it important at WrestleMania 3. So. You can't really argue that, can you?
So Dave has gone for Randy Savage.
He did hold it for over a year. He only did Honky Tonk. Everyone talks about Honky's reign, but Savage only had it like 10 days less than Honky. There wasn't much in it at all. So it was impressive. He beat Tito Santana for it in the Boston Garden in February, not 86. So, and Tito was a 2-time Intercontinental Champion at that point. So, you know,
I will give you my reasons as to why I have picked Razor Ramon. One, because he was a childhood favourite of mine. He elevated the mid card from 93 to 90. When did he leave? 96.
Razor won the title, didn't he, in October 93 and left in May 96.
Yeah. So, I mean, you've got just under 2 years worth of elevating the mid card.
Oh, yeah.
You've got the iconic ladder match with Michaels. He put over opponents like 1, 2, 3 Kid cleanly. The feuds with Goldust, Jeff Jarrett, even Dean Douglas, you know, like, for me, is Razor. So Razor Ramon is my pick, and it's not because I don't like Savage, and I do.
I don't think
the same argument I had for Mr. Perfect earlier with Randy Savage and with Bret Hart is that when I think of the IC title, I do think of those 3 wrestlers.
Yeah. No, I get it.
But still, for me personally, it's Razor.
Definitely. No, look, mate, I completely get it. For Savage's reign was far too early. Everyone remembers him as being the WWF champion, really, and I totally get that. So, and yeah, I can't argue with anything you say about Razor because I picked him as well for all those same reasons, mate. So, I mean, look, I'm the winner here. Both my guys got to the final, so
Wow.
I'm chuffed.
Didn't realise it was a competition, David, but thank you. Andy? See this key?
We both agreed that your guy should win.
No, I'm talking to David, you fucking
Oh, I thought you were telling me to take
Come
this
on,
key.
get the kebab out your ears and fucking pick the winner.
He picked
I
Razor.
picked Razor.
Ah,
I picked
excellent.
Razor.
Right, cue Razor Ramon music. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, if I'd have known, I would have done it.
Mm.
But I mean, what I will also just find, I'll add the button to this show here.
Bret Hart should have won, yeah.
No, not at all. Never. I'm glad he went out in the first round. He's useless.
Unbelievable.
I'll put the button on this. I'll put the button on this show to make everyone go home happy. Okay. In a year's time, we should come back to this video, review it again, all right, and see whether Razor beats Dominic. Because I guarantee Dominic's going to have the greatest Intercontinental Championship reign there has ever been.
Spoken like a true child. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us in this episode of who we thought was the best WWE Intercontinental Champion of all time.
And who won, by the way, guys? It's just 1-0 to me, yeah?
Razor
I
won.
think
we all won.
Razor Ramon won, David.
We're all winners, thanks to me.
And I will just give you a bit of a keep it in line with WWE's new sort of getting in behind the scenes. I'll let you know, David did pick his 5 wrestlers before me and Andy, so he had
That's
first
also very
choice.
true.
Well, snooze you lose, gentlemen. Snooze you lose. At the end of the day, you want to play.
Some of us have to work, don't they?
Yeah, exactly.
So please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate all the support. We want to be famous. We want to be rich. We are undisputed. We are unfiltered. We are unscripted. We are Holla if you hear me. And I can't end the recording.
Maybe we'll edit that bit.